Just a quick warning, I do apologise if my internet is quite slow because sometimes it doesn't work, but this is just going to be a video of me talking about a scene from LA Confidential where they go to rescue a woman who's being held captive in a man's house, and I chose this scene because I think it's very effective and it has good conventions of film noir in it, and also challenges of the film noir genre, so yeah, I'm just going to talk about this video. It starts with a point of view shot as they're in the car, and Russell Crowe gets out, and the music at this sort of point is quite tense and also sort of suspense building, because you know something, they're in the hunt for someone, as it were, but you're not quite sure what's going on. He gets out, and there's a close-up shot of the guys in the car, and Ed actually gets out to then. He's saying stay there, and that also builds tension because he's sort of eager to go out. It's a sunny day, that's where it challenges the genre, because they're in the hunt for someone, but it's actually sort of bright sunshine, so it's sort of the opposite of what you would find in a film noir, because it's usually sort of like dark and shadow like scenes. We see Russell Crowe jump over the fence and get his gun out, which sort of creates a lot more suspense, because then he's got a gun out, you know it's sort of something that's getting like really serious, and he approaches the house quietly and sort of carefully. I think that shot's quite effective because he's sort of behind something, so it's hard to explain, but sort of he's protected, but as he opens the door up, it's like he's going into the unknown and he's not quite sure what's going on, so it's quite sort of tense. The shadow there, I feel, creates a really good threat, sort of two personalities of him. One, because as you'll find out later on in the scene, he actually shoots the guy, but the cops think it's because the other guy shot at him, but he didn't. He just shot him for the sake of shooting him and didn't even let him explain. So the two sides of personality is just sort of the good cop, bad cop type sort of feel to it. And as he enters, you can sort of hear that there's sort of a cartoony sort of sound going on, and you'll come to notice in the thing that the guy he actually shoots is watching cartoons, but this contrast between the cartoon and also there's like coming up, you'll see there's a woman literally just lying on the bed and she's probably been like raped or something, but like the contrast between the actual image, the visual, and the music is quite obviously she's like just lying there, but then you've got the music of the cartoon, like sort of fun, happy sort of playing around. You've got the bars on the bed, which could symbolise entrapment, and you've also got the light coming in on the shadow, sort of, and there's a split between it, which is again sort of split personality. She's lying there, sort of looking pretty worse for wear, and this is where I think it gets quite interesting, because they've also haven't got the Venetian blinds in there. They've just got plain blinds, which is different to what you would normally find in a film noir genre. And this is where, again, it's sort of, you expect suspense building sort of music here, but in fact you're not really getting any. It's just the music from the TV, which is quite cartoony. And you also have the shots here are quite, if you just go back, hopefully this doesn't muck it up. The shots are actually quite sort of long and smooth. They aren't like quickly transition, which is quite unusual, because usually when you get to points like this in a film, they're sort of quite quick, sort of snappy shots, but you don't really get any of that. It's very like smooth, slow transitions between shots, which is very interesting. He's like the shadow completely covers his face there, so it could represent that now he's seen that woman on the bed, obviously in pain and not very nice. Then he sort of turns into this bad cop, entering this room where this other guy is. And again, it's still dark, and shots are still very slow. It goes to a point of view shot, and this is where you first see the actual TV image of like sort of this cartoon going on. There's a point of view shot, and I'll stop it for a minute because it needs to buffer. But this is where we first see the guy, and he's just sort of sitting there having a laugh at this TV program, and this contrasts again with Russell Crowe's face, because he's very serious and like not very happy at it. And I think the close-up shot there and this shot with Russell in the background sort of creates a good effect, because the close-up is sort of very intimate, and like this one he's just like sitting there in pajamas and he sees him straight away, and as soon as he looks he shoots him, which puts him away. And this is where the good cop bad and this is where the good cop bad cop comes in, because he shot him for no, like, well, obviously for raping that woman, but he shot him for technically no reason. And this is where you'll see him actually set this guy up, because he'll do a gunshot at the wall so it looks like he's shot at him, but he hasn't actually. In this one we haven't got Venetian blinds, but the curtains are quite, they have got slight lines down them, which creates that sort of effect of the Venetian blinds. And also the light, again, like I was saying, you usually expect like the murder scenes and stuff to be dark, but they're not actually, because in this scene it's very light. Also in this one, it's a very typical film noir. In the background out the window you can actually see like this long shot of the cops running in, and you see that a lot in film noir when sort of like the background images sometimes can be more important than the front image. And also as we sort of play on while he's just setting it up now, you can see that the music is still playing, so although it's really serious still, this music's still playing, so it sort of creates a comedy element to it, which is. And that shot, this sort of high angle shot, shows that Russell Crowe, because he's already there, he could be the more dominant police officer out of all of them. And as they come in, they're not quite sure what to expect, but then they obviously, and it's interesting because Dudley, he as soon as he enters the image, he's gone dark straight away, so that could give connotations that he's actually quite an evil bad guy as well. And also this good cop bad cop type feel, because obviously Russell Crowe has just shot a guy, but now he's like being caring to this woman, which sort of shows two sides of his personality. And there you have another bit. You'll see that the two actually have an argument over what sort of actually happened. And he's sort of like questioning him, saying about how, do you really think that they're going to believe that he tried to shoot you, and so on. I think this sort of scene sums up the sort of stories coming together, how Ed is like a very good cop, and then got the person that Russell plays is very sort of two-sided, as it were. And this sort of reverse shot is very intimate as well for the characters, and in the background you can hear it like a siren, which could represent a sort of danger or something is coming between them, and sort of it's heating up. And as you'll see, they sort of try and sort of argue / fight in a minute. So, and this shot is, I think, is very good because Dudley's in the background and he's sort of the coordinator of it all, and he wants them to argue because he's the one that originally, he's like the behind it all, as you'll find out later on in the film. So him being in the middle of those two is very sort of significant because he's sort of like the central role. But then, obviously, this scene shows a lot of corruption within the Force and like fighting with each other. So yeah, it's not really the best sort of thing that they can give off because they're fighting with each other, and it shows corruption in the police force that there actually is at the time. So again, this shot is quite important because Dudley again is, although we don't know he's behind it all at the moment, there's signs that are showing, like this shot. He's got dark on his face. And at the end of the scene, they've just had a radio call of people coming, so it's saying that they've escaped. So yeah, overall that scene I think is very crucial within the story because it gives away little cute clues about to what the type of characters are. Like Ed's always in the light. Guy that Russell Crowe plays is always half and half light shadow, and also it shows the corruption within the police force, and also Dudley, that he's the one behind it, or he's sort of in the centre of everything. He's always like in the shadows and stuff, and I think that's like really, really important to the storyline.